You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is 6 p.m. on the dot, Wednesday, December the 5th, and welcome to another episode of the Drew Yari Show. We are live on Spreaker, and if you're in the Discord chat, we are live on here as well. If you're already here, if you want to join up in the voice chat, you can. It just says Drew Yari Show live. What's going on, guys? It's been kind of an interesting week. So, I don't know if you guys already saw. We can get into the ratings after we talk about NXT for a bit. I did not watch AEW. As a matter of fact, I have not watched AEW in quite a while now. I don't really care. I don't care about AEW. There's nothing in it that's pulling me in. Like, I'll watch clips. But to be honest, it's more so the Jericho stuff. Jericho's the only thing that's really, pulling me in. As far as anything else in AEW goes, I know last night he brought back the, another iteration of the list that he had in WWE, except it's called the Lexicon of Le Champion, where instead of talking about people that have pissed him off, he talks about people that he's never gonna wrestle. And I'm assuming his next opponent is Jon Moxley, because in the lexicon, he randomly just keeps naming Jon Moxley. It's kind of similar to back in WCW when he did that promo in the middle of the ring, and he just kept naming moves that he knows, and he would just name one move after another, and every now and then he would just say armbar. That's basically the promo from last night. So I'm assuming Jon Moxley is his next opponent. I'm just assuming. But the rest of the show, again, there's really nothing that's pulling me in. Not that there's bad talent. I like some of the talent there. I like Adam Page. I like Pentagon. I'm a big fan of Pentagon. What is it? Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy, I think, is good. I like. He doesn't bother me. I actually like him. He's pretty good in the ring. The women's division really needs work, and I did see that last night where they quote unquote parodied the Britt Baker sitting in the audience looking concerned at NXT, which I guess I understand why they had to, or why they parodied it, because she looked genuinely concerned that her boyfriend, just fell off the top of a steel cage and hit the ring, or went through a table in the ring. So I don't see why they needed to parody it. I guess I understand why, because a lot of people assume that AEW was gonna get pissed off at her. And even Triple H, had said, before that, he honestly didn't want to get her in trouble. So, I'm glad she didn't get in trouble. You wouldn't want anyone to get in trouble over something, like that. Because everybody in wrestling is dating each other. I'm pretty sure there's, there's WWE wrestlers dating AEW wrestlers, and there's AEW wrestlers dating WWE wrestlers. There's WWE wrestlers dating Impact wrestlers. There's Impact wrestlers dating NJPW wrestlers. So naturally, they're going to go to each other's shows, and they're going to support each other's, which is understandable. But what else was I going to say? Yeah, the women's division really needs work. Dr. Britt Baker, after keep reminding you that she's a doctor, just in case you guys didn't know. She's not very good in the ring. The rest of the women's division's not that good. What is it, Iro or Isho Hero? Whoever the women's champion is, she's not that great in the ring either. Is Awesome Kong ever going to wrestle, or is she just going to be Brandy's bodyguard? I mean, come on. Which is believable because you don't want her wrestling yet, because how believable is it going to be having Awesome Kong in the ring against Hero Sandwich, like Pinch just said. So, I mean, yeah, keep her as Brandy's muscle, which makes sense to me. MJF I like. Cody, I know this goes against wrestling religion, but, I do not support Cody Grace. I'm sorry. The Young Bucks I'm not too big of fans of. I did see that clip of Sammy Guevara, or Guevara, whatever his name is, doing what looked like a shooting star press, which ends with the Young Bucks kicking him in the face. Now, when you watch the clip, you can see Sammy. All right. So Sammy's getting on the top rope, right? He's getting ready to do his move, and you can clearly see the Young Bucks get up before he even does anything, and he decides to go for a shooting star press either way. Ends up getting super kicked for it, and that was like the big thing on Twitter. If you have a Twitter or whatever, where it's just like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, does he even know what he's doing? So, and then he responded saying, oh, is it possible that, Matt just moved? Stop spreading fake news. It's like, no, you idiot. You clearly saw Matt get up before you decided to do your movie. Yeah, it's wrestling. It's choreographed. But just stop. Don't make yourself look stupid. Don't pull a Seth Rollins. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Make your money and wrestle. That's all you gotta do. Other than that, I didn't watch the show. Ratings we'll get to in a bit. Yeah, just stop. That'll be one of the titles for the episode tonight. Just stop. I did watch NXT, by the way. NXT last night. It began with Killian Dane coming to the ring, and he called out Damian Priest, and out came Pete Dunne. Those two went on to have, the best match of the night. Really good, solid action. Really good back and forth. I didn't think the match was going to be this good. Because of the Drew Yari shirt. Just, I'm pretty sure that's a shirt. I'm pretty sure that's a shirt. I'm almost positive that's a shirt. So, but I'll look into it, Pins. But yeah, Killian Dane, Pete Dunne. I didn't think the match was going to be this good, because of the size difference. Killian Dane, he's not a giant. He's not like Braun Strowman size, but he's a little bigger than Pete Dunne. But, these two had pretty good chemistry in the ring. They just went in there and beat the shit out of each other. Very good back and forth action. I think it's pretty cool that Killian Dane's doing a Vader bomb as his finish. He missed the first. Oh, well, he went for it the first time, and then Pete Dunne put his legs up, and then he went for a second time. And then Pete Dunne tried to superplex him. And Killian Dane ended up just falling while Pete Dunne was on his back and then pinned him, which I thought was pretty cool because I'm just guessing they really like Pete Dunne over there. I don't hate Pete Dunne. He doesn't bother me. Yeah, they probably did work. That probably does make sense. But, well, really no buts. I like him. I know a lot of people aren't too crazy about him, but I like Pete Dunne. He doesn't bother me. So they didn't want to make him look too weak, and they obviously didn't want to make Killian Dane look weak. So he won in almost kind of like, I wouldn't say a lucky way, but he won in a way that made sense. Because if a big hairy motherfucker's falling on you, you're not going to get up. It's not going to look believable if Pete Dunne kicked out. Kind of like when Braun Strowman went for a fucking top rope splash on Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins kicked out it too. But, yeah. Great match between these two. It makes me feel bad. I see this match and it makes me feel bad that I don't watch NXT UK because I hear a lot of good things about it. I hear the crowds are like super hot for it. So that's one thing I'm going to start getting into. I'll give that a chance one of these days. One of these days. I'll let you guys know about it. Next match. Well, not a match. It was a segment. Keith Lee promises Undisputed Era he will soon take their gold. And then Ciampa, I think it was Ciampa that comes out. Yeah, Ciampa comes out and makes a save. Blah, blah, blah. Shayna Baszler versus Xia Li. Decent match. Nothing too amazing, but decent match. You had two girls that are heavy hitters. Xia Li, who just it looks like her legs are made out of fucking like tree bark. Like I can ask what's her name NXT Carmella how it feels to get kicked in the face by legs. And then of course you got Shayna Baszler is a fucking killer who's a star. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna take a sip out of my drink. But, decent match. Nothing too crazy. Baszler wins with her sleeper hold. I forget what she calls it. Not a cocaine clutch. Curry Fuda clutch. There you go. So that happens. Next match I actually fast forwarded to because I just don't care. The Forgotten Sons versus Adrian Alanis and Leon Ruff. What is the purpose of this Forgotten Sons gimmick? I don't get it. Like, didn't we already have this in TNA with Aces and Eights, or Aces and 0.8s as DT would call it, or did call it? I don't care about this gimmick. I don't. I mean, and also didn't they have another gimmick like this with Heath Slater and was it Jack Swagger? What you call it? It was like the mid Carter team. It was Jack Swagger, not Jack Swagger actually. It was Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel, and there was someone else too. And the whole point of the team was that they were jobbers and that they were being overlooked. This is what it reminds me of. I mean, there shouldn't be jobbers in NXT. The point of NXT is that's supposed to be developmental. I mean, now NXT is kind of surpassed, developmental, and it's become, third brand. I mean, in a way, in some ways, NXT is almost the Ace show. Not 3-man band. It was another group. I'll find out in a bit, but I don't care about this group. I really don't. I was lucky to fast forward because I didn't start watching NXT until 7:30. It's 7 p.m. Central Time here in San Antonio, so I was lucky that I could fast forward through this match because I just didn't care. And yeah, the Forgotten Sons won. But next one is supposed to be Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai. Let's talk about Dakota Kai for a bit. I mentioned on Twitter, how is it whenever female wrestlers turn heel and they instantly become a lot hotter? I mean, it makes sense because if you're a face, you're not supposed to be hot. You're not supposed to look hot. You're supposed to look wholesome. You're supposed to have this all-American, good girl image. I mean, Dakota Kai's case, she's not all-American. She's all New Zealand. But she's supposed to have this wholesome image. When you become bad, you want to look bad. You want to feel bad. You don't want people to look at you and go, oh, there's cute little innocent, Dakota Kai who loves puppies. And who, yes, she is. Oof, I love Nikki Cross. She's thick. Dakota Kai, and now she's a heel. She's like, I'm Dakota Kai and I hate bitches. I like to fuck bitches up. I also like fucking. I don't know what Dakota Kai really thinks. I'm just being an idiot. But she comes to the ring with new music. And as her entrance, Titantron video, it's footage of NXT War Games when she's beating the shit out of Tegan Knox, which I'm like, that's brilliant. Like whoever gave her that idea, or whoever gave her that idea deserves a raise and a promotion. Like that's genius. That is a heel, 101. It's very like, it's almost hard to watch though. Yeah, the game just needs another promotion. I want to take Vince's job, but that video's still hard to watch because, like I said, when I was reviewing War Games, Tegan Knox, she really sells the shit out of, getting her leg almost snapped in half. It was almost kind of hard to watch. It was like watching a snuff film. Like that. Like that's how kind of hard it was to watch. But yeah, Dakota Kai comes to the ring still with the arm brace that she took from Tegan Knox. Comes to the ring. Out comes Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley just tells her, bravo for setting us, or not bravo, but like pretty much just like, oh yeah, you set us up at War Games, and I'm going to set you up. Out comes Mia Yim after she was injured at War Games from Dakota Kai. Comes out and just beats the shit out of her. They end up brawling into the audience and go to the back, which I thought was pretty cool. And then out comes... Okay, sorry about that. Out comes Shayna Baszler with her two cronies. And they gang up on her and beat the shit out of her, which, it looked good. I don't think it buried Rhea in any way. I mean, at the same time, Shayna is the champion. She's been the champion for, a year and a half? Or not even a year and a half, just a year. She's a two-time, NXT Women's Champion. The first ever two times, NXT Women's Champion. So you still gotta make the champ look strong. And this also creates sympathy for Rhea, because now this, really puts all that heel heat on Shayna, to where now the audience wants Rhea to just beat the ever-living piss out of her. So she comes out to the ring after her and her two goons just laid her out, and gets in her face and says, you want to fight me? You want a title match? I want a title match too. December 18th, it's you and me. NXT Women's Championship. So yeah, December 18th. Oh, and on a side note, they announced that AEW and NXT aren't going to have shows on Christmas Day, which is Wednesday. Christmas is on a Wednesday, just letting you guys know, if you guys didn't already know. So that's going to be a big show. I'm almost positive AEW is going to do something to top that, or try and top it. So interesting. That could be the main event. It might be the main event more than likely. Moving on to the next match or segment, Cassius Ohno versus Matt Riddle. Oh man. Cassius Ohno, they just need to let him not wrestle anymore. Just give him a job as a coach, producer, something. It looks bad. It looks really bad with him on the ring. And yes, I'm fat too, but at the same time, I'm not getting paid money to go out there and look like an athlete. It just looks bad. Like, you can see the cellulite on the back of his legs. That's how bad it looks. He originally came out to challenge somebody from NXT UK, because NXT and NXT UK are going to have a big, a takeover or a big event called Worlds Collide, so he wanted to call it somebody from NXT UK. Out came Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle gets the win. So we'll just move on from that. I already said what I need to say about Cassius Ohno. You had Kushida versus Cameron Grimes. Kushida was supposed to face Raul Mendoza. But Cameron Grimes came out and decided to take his place. Okay match. Kushida's been out for almost 2 months after he was injured by Walter. And again, good, decent back and forth. What happened? I didn't see it yet, or really, I'll have to see it. I actually like Chris Hero. Yeah, it was him versus Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle won But yeah, it's cool. It's cool you like Chris Hero. I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, Kushida and Cameron Grimes. It looked like for like a second that they're gonna turn Cameron Grimes into something, because they just kept randomly they had him go out there and just like squash random guys with one move. And then they have him, I wouldn't want to say job to Matt Riddle, but Matt Riddle, beat him in a very competitive match. So I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do with him, but. And then Kushida, he looks like someone that's best suited for, 205 Live. He might already be on 205 Live. I don't watch the show, so I can't really say too much about it. And then you got the main event. Undisputed Era versus Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee and Dynamite Dijakovic. I thought it was a very good match. Very good back and forth. These guys, they obviously have very good chemistry. I mean, they're able to go out there and just like own War Games. They just beat the shit out of each other. I still am just trying to get used to a guy who's 6'7" and Dynamite Dijakovic having to sell for someone like Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. It just, I don't know, just looks odd. But yeah, very good match, very good back and forth, really good ending. There was a point in the match where Keith Lee decides to go for a dive on the three members of Undisputed Era. Fish. The guy whose last name is Fish. He's currently injured. He apparently has a neck injury from last week. Keith Lee decides to go for a dive on the three members of Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era guys see that and then move out of the fucking way like, nope, not going to happen. And then Keith Lee just comes out and just proceeds to, beat on all three of them. He was attempting to do a dive, but then the Undisputed Era saw it and moved out of the way, and then Keith Lee just decided to get out of the ring, just beat him up outside of the ring. Donovan Dijakovic goes for some type of like corkscrew off the top rope move onto the three members, which looked pretty cool, by the way. What else happened? I think the ref was knocked. Oh yeah, there's a point where the ref was knocked out. Finn Balor comes out, and he goes after Adam Cole first, goes after Ciampa, and and again, Keith Lee continues to make more moments on NXT. He's not making more memes and more gifs. There was a point where Finn Balor turns his attention to Adam Cole, and there's a close-up of Finn Balor's Diamond Dallas Jackov. Wow. I'm not even going to attempt to say that because I'm just going to fuck it up. The camera is panned to Finn's face when he's about to go for his move on Adam Cole. Out of nowhere, you see Keith Lee just like slowly move up and look at Finn Balor. Almost like, in a horror movie. Like he just comes out of nowhere, and it's like, I don't know if Finn saw him, or maybe Finn kind of had this reaction in his face like, wait. And then Keith, grabs him and goes for the Spirit Bomb, I think. Yeah, that was a Spirit Bomb. He uses a Spirit Bomb move on Finn Balor. And then, Adam Cole gets up and tries to use his finish on Keith Lee. Keith Lee uses his, I believe it's a fireman's carry mixed with a jackhammer on Adam Cole. Referee gets up, 1, 2, 3. Keith Lee's team wins. Another great match between these 6 guys. Hopefully this doesn't become a constant thing, because there was that period in time where it was Keith Lee versus Dynamite Dijakovic, every single week. And yeah, I mean, those guys can work. I mean, those are great matches, but, we don't need to see it every week. We don't need to have ice cream every single day. Ice cream is good, but we don't need to have it every single day. Let's just save it for special occasions. Dynamite Dijakovic, where does it go from here? Because it looks like Keith Lee... I'll save that. I'll save that, after I talk about what happens after the match. So, William Regal comes out and announces for next week on NXT, it's going to be a number one contenders match for Adam Cole's NXT Championship on December 18th, where it's going to be a triple threat between Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, and Keith Lee. And, which I'm surprised they didn't add Dijakovic in that. I don't know. It would have been interesting if they added Dijakovic. So, obviously Finn's not going to win because they're going to have heel versus heel. I mean, it'd be a really good match. It'd be an awesome match, but they're not going to have it that way. I wouldn't be opposed to Ciampa winning because Ciampa's whole shtick lately has been, Daddy's coming home, Goldie, blah, blah, blah. This seems like, I don't know. I would say to give it to Keith Lee because he's on such a momentum drive. But at the same time, you don't want to just capitalize on it automatically. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Because Keith Lee, I think he'd be best suited to maybe have a title match at one of the bigger takeovers, like the WrestleMania takeover, which they're in Tampa Bay this year, so that'd be Takeover Tampa. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think Keith Lee's going to win it. And he's going to face Adam Cole. I would like him to win because again, he's on a big momentum drive. And then have a program with Ciampa and Finn. Because it makes sense. There's a story behind there. Finn attacked Ciampa's best friend. And then that's where you bring, Johnny Gargano back. And then they can have a program at the WrestleMania takeover. So the writing's kind of on the wall. The story kind of writes itself. But going back to Dijakovic. Give me 1 second. Going back to Dijakovic, I would have figured they add him in this match. I mean, granted, you look at the War Games, he was almost kind of like I wouldn't say weak part of the match, or the weak link, but he was he might as well have been a potted plant. He wasn't really doing much in the match. I mean, because if you remember the War Games match, it was all Ciampa. It was, Keith Lee, he was a big part of it. And then you had Kevin Owens coming in there and kicking ass. And of course you had the Undisputed. And then for, Team WWE, the Survivor Series match, you had Keith Lee, who was, the shining star of it. You had Ciampa, who was, the second to last member of the team. And again, I'm surprised they didn't add, Dijakovic in that match, and they added Damian Priest, who is green as grass, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Dijakovic. Maybe kind of keep him on the back burner for a while. Maybe they're going to call him up. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Takeover Tampa will end up being Keith Lee versus Dijakovic for the title. Fuck it. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. So that was NXT. Another great show. The reason why I only really watch that show and I don't watch AEW, and also, like I just mentioned, about the ratings. Come on. All right, so Julian Cannon, shout out to Julian, had posted the ratings for AEW and NXT. AEW won with 851,000 viewers. They were 8th in the ratings from last night. And NXT was 845,000 viewers. So AEW kind of barely wins. They win by the skin of their teeth with 6,000 more viewers. Again, I can't really judge how the show was because I didn't watch it. But I don't know, to me, just what I've seen from AEW from the past couple weeks, I'm trying to watch it. NXT has the better show. They clearly have the better show. I haven't been keeping up with NWA either. The concept of it is good. I think here's the thing at NWA to me. if they didn't have the old school, look and concept to it, I don't think people would be watching it. And Eric Bischoff kind of alluded, there's kind of a reason why they're on, Facebook Live and YouTube and not like a national network. I mean, I think pretty soon they're going to be on a national network. They kind of have to be. I'm pretty sure that's Billy Corgan's goal, is to get them on a national network like a TBS, or fuck it, even get them on Access. Access seems like the wrestling channel now because they have Impact, they have NJPW. But NXT after winning the past 2 weeks, barely loses. But, hey, nothing lasts forever, I guess. Man. So, what else was I going to talk about? I had something else in mind. CM Punk. CM Punk did an interview with Windy City Live, which you can catch on YouTube. I'll talk about Black Widow in a bit. I'm just going to get some wrestling news out of the way. CM Punk did an interview with Windy City Live, where it's kind of one of those generic interviews where it's just like, so you were a wrestler, who'd you like growing up? Did you like Hulk Hogan? And the guy asked him, who'd you like growing up? And he mentioned, his favorite wrestler, growing up was Roddy Piper, which if you watch the CM Punk documentary, That Best in the World, he stated that, one of the first memories he has of wrestling is seeing Roddy Piper break a coconut over Jimmy Snuka's head. And he kind of based his persona around Roddy Piper. And the guy, was like, oh, that's interesting. Most people would say Hogan. He's like, I was never a Hogan fan. And I have the quote right here. I wasn't a Hogan guy growing up. I've met him, and I like him even less now. Fuck him. Which makes sense because a lot of people. I mean, Hogan hasn't really done himself any favors, over the past few years. You have his personal troubles, you have his legal troubles, and also, saying the I'm not gonna say it, saying the N-word in a video where he's plowing his friend's wife. So he hasn't really done himself any favors, and even before that, a lot of people weren't too crazy about him. I also noticed that's kind of a pattern with a lot of people. Because I remember Ultimate Warrior mentioning that John Cena was a Warrior fan growing up, but he couldn't. But he even said he couldn't say that out loud. He had to say he was a Hogan fan. Batista said he was I think Batista even said he was a Warrior fan growing up, and he also liked Warlord. He was never a Hogan fan. So, I legit believe Piper was from Glasgow, Scotland. That's why I liked him growing up. Yeah, that was weird when I found out that he actually wasn't from Scotland or even Ireland. He was actually from Canada. What is it, Saskatchewan, Canada? So, hey, he really played it well. So, he played those bagpipes really well. And he was able to rock that flannel skirt, whatever the fuck you call it. So that's CM Punk. John Morrison is coming back to WWE. Mm-hmm. They announced on WWE Backstage on Tuesday from Mr. Ryan Satin, our good friend, announcing that John Morrison has signed a multi-year deal to the WWE. Well, they announced him as John Morrison, so Johnny Raw. I don't know about that, but Johnny Raw sounds like a porn name. I really wish they could have saved that as a surprise. Have him come out on Raw or SmackDown or NXT as a surprise. Have somebody call out, saying, I want to wrestle somebody I've never wrestled before. And then have John Morrison's music hit and the place goes nuts. Or have him as a Royal Rumble contestant. They should have never announced that he was going to sign back. Have him come out in the Royal Rumble as a surprise contestant, and then have him say, I'm back in WWE. I'm here to stay. This isn't just a one-time deal. I'm here to stay. Personally, I would rather see him on NXT. I mean, because when you look at the matchups, you you can have John Morrison versus Adam Cole, John Morrison versus Ciampa, Gargano. I mean, there's some good matchups on the main roster, but it's just like anyone that's ever came back after being gone for a while, they've kind of become job guys. I mean, you look at Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy had the hottest gimmick in the business before he came back to the company. Comes back, they tried to do something with it, but it was just a watered down version of it. And now he's basically just in catering. I mean, he's apparently trying to get back the deletion gimmick. But I don't know about that. And then you have EC3, which, for the love of God, what have they done to that guy? I mean, yeah, he put on YouTube that he's hurt, but even before that, what have they done to him? They tried to do something with Jeff Hardy. I mean, they legit tried to give Jeff Hardy a push, because they weren't just going to have Jeff Hardy be a job guy. But he just kept getting hurt. I mean, because, again, Jeff's no spring chicken. And also, he likes to, do drugs every now and then. But that's another story. A guy like John Morrison, he's too good to be a jobber. He's way too talented, way too charismatic to be a jobber. I do not want to see him go after the Looney Tunes Championship or the 24/7 Championship. I don't want to see that. He's someone that you can put in a feud with AJ Styles. I mean, I'm pretty sure Vince, he sees AJ Styles and he sees John Morrison and goes, that's a feud. That's money right there. Like, those are like match of the year candidates. I mean, because I remember as clear as day. Before I even listen to podcasts in general, I would listen to like the clips on Epic Sports and TV tracks. And I remember there's a segment where Don Tony's talking about Don Tony and Kevin, DTKC are talking about AJ Styles, before he even came to the WWE. Stating, could he be almost like the Southern John Morrison? That's a match I'm pretty sure Vince has always wanted to see. That's a match I think a lot of us have always wanted to see. I'm not speaking for everybody, but that looks like a match of the year candidate. John Morrison versus Ricochet. There's some other good matches. John Morrison versus Roman Reigns. I mean, there's a whole thing a while back where John Morrison called out Roman Reigns. Well, not really called him out, but he said, like, I would like to wrestle him, but hopefully he's a lot better, in a couple years. That'd be nice. Those would be some good matches. Don't waste a guy like John Morrison. And also because John Morrison is a WWE guy. Like, it wasn't like he started out in the Indies. No, he started on Tough Enough, and then he went to OVW and worked his way up in the system. So I don't see how they would do that to a guy who was in their system. I mean, I guess it makes sense with a guy like EC3. But then again, he came up through their system too, but he got his success over in TNA. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I really hope they don't waste his talents. If they put him on the main roster, put him on SmackDown. I mean, that'd be pretty interesting. SmackDown's, it looks like it's in need of more stars. But NXT, I think, would be the better choice. So yeah, John Morrison. What else? What else am I going to talk about? Just checking my phone. It's 38 minutes. I just finished this in an hour. What can we talk about? The Black Widow trailer. It came out on Tuesday, I believe. And very much hype around the movie because it's, well, not the first female Marvel movie, but it's big because this is something that a lot of the fans, in Marvel have been clamoring for. They've been wanting this Black Widow movie to actually happen. And, we're surprised that they waited this long. It would have been really interesting if they had a Black Widow movie after Civil War. Because, granted, the movie takes place after Civil War and before Infinity War. But it would have been better if they capitalized on it right after Civil War. That would have been so freaking sweet. It would have been better timing, too, now that, especially at that time when she was alive, and now that she's, spoilers, dead. Not Scarlett Johansson, but, Black Widow. But the whole basis of the trailer is that she's on the run. Black Widow's on the run, Natasha's on the run, and she ends up going back home and meeting her sister, who's played by Florence Pugh, who played Paige in the Paige movie, and she was also in Midsommar, who, one of my new celebrity crushes, by the way. And, I don't know if is that like her actual biological sister, or is that like I guess like a best friend sister, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, she calls her sister, and then they tussle, and then you see Rachel Weisz, another very good actress I'm a fan of. She's very charismatic. She fits in this role, so I like her in this movie. You have David Harbour, off of Stranger Things fame, playing Red Guardian, who's the Russian Captain America. And he tries on his suit, and, there's a scene in the trailer, which a lot of people are complaining about. He tries on a suit, and, he says the suit still fits. And who's married to Daniel Craig? Rachel Weisz? That's an interesting couple. That's a pretty good-looking couple right there. David Harbour's character tries on the suit, and then Rachel Weisz looks over and says, "You got fat," which it was kind of it was kind of a predicted joke. So, a lot of people are complaining about that scene though, because they're looking at it as Marvel is apparently fat shaming Red Guardian, which is just like, well, first of all, David Harbour's not fat. He's very bulky, by the way. He looks like a big motherfucker that can fuck you up. I mean, even in like the trailer, he's flexing. He has he has muscles. He's not like, it's not like Thor in Endgame where Thor was actually fat. David Harbour's character looks like a big bulky motherfucker. So and I get, again, the fact that they're a family and they're also Russians. What the fuck was I going to say? They're a family and they're Russian, so of course they're going to talk shit to each other. But again, people are complaining, saying that they're fat shaming and blah, 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 which is just like, calm the fuck on. This is why we can't have nice things. That seems like the saying that a lot of people will use, because it just seems like no matter what, people are always going to find a way to complain. So I remember in Black Panther, there was literally an article that somebody decided to go out of their way to make, and say that Black Panther didn't use any LGBTQ characters in their movie, which is just like, what? Why did that need to happen? Why do I care? I don't have a problem with gays. Love gays, love gay people, they love me. But why is that important? Why would that ruin a movie? So people are always going to find a way to complain. But yeah, Black Widow, it looks, and also they brought back William Hurt's character from the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and they decided to de-age him. So he's after Black Widow. He's after that bitch. This movie looks very interesting. It looks like it's going to be better than Captain Marvel. I like Captain Marvel, but it didn't really... I liked it, but I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I love it. Winter Soldiers, to me, is the best MCU movie so far. And then you got Thor Ragnarok, you got Infinity War. This looks like it's going to really hit the mark. Yeah, she's a cutie. She doesn't really have an ass, though, but she's very pretty. But this looks like it could have that same stigma of Winter Soldier. About governments, about, your own country going against you. I'm very hyped for this movie. It comes out in May. I forget what the date was. Because the trailer said May 2020, but I remember at Comic-Con they said they already gave a date for it. Let me look that up. Black Widow released in May the 1st, 2020. Alright, so we have an official date, May 1st, 2020. And next year, I mean, we're only getting like 2 MCU movies. We're getting Black Widow, and we're getting The Eternals, which I literally have no idea how that movie's going to go. It's weird because even Draper and Mish on Side Saw yesterday were even saying the same thing. Like, I think that Draper was even like, I never even read an Eternals comic, and Mish was like, no, I haven't either. So, I mean, MCU usually knocks these movies out of the park. I mean, look what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy was a failing comic book, and they were able to turn that into something. And they made Chris Pratt a household name. They made Batista a star. Karen Gillian, a fellow Scot, Pence, Karen Gillian, or is she Irish? I think she's Scottish. I really like to think she's Scottish. And got someone like Zoe Saldana. Guardians of the Galaxy made him famous. The Eternals, they already have a lot of famous people in it. They have Angelina Jolie, who's already proven herself. You have Jon Snow, who's playing the Black Knight, which that looks like that's a pretty dope looking character. You have the other Stark guy, who's playing Icarus, the main guy. So it looks like it has a really good cast. I literally don't know anything about the fucking comic book. I might need to brush up on it pretty soon, just to know what I'm getting in for. So there's 2 MCU movies. I think there's 3 other Marvel movies, but they're not MCU property. You have New Mutants, which is supposed to come out next year. They haven't canceled it or pushed it back. They've already said it's going to come out whenever it's going to come out, which is next year, I think in February or March. And that was looking pretty cool, because it was supposed to come out 2 years ago. And then they just kept moving it around. So I don't even know what to think about that. It's supposed to be like the first, X-Men horror movie. Or a horror superhero movie. And then you have the Sony Marvel property, which is... you got Venom 2, which has Carnage in it, which is, I'm looking forward. I hope they fucking get that right. I hope they do. And then you have Morbius the Living Vampire with Jared Leto in the lead, which there hasn't been too much talk about it. I know Jared Leto, he puts on his Instagram, like, he'll show behind the scenes photos. They haven't really been shown too much. Which, I guess that's good. I guess it's kind of good and bad. Because it seems like they're not really advertising the movie all that much. But, Sony obviously wants to they want to tease people. They want to give them a little bit, but not give them too much. Because I remember with Venom, yeah, she was in Doctor Who. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Whenever they showed behind the scenes, footage of Venom, they just showed Tom Hardy just in a suit, or just not even in a suit, just like regular plain clothes. And then when they actually showed trailers, then that's when they showed the CGI for him. I guess that's what they're going to do with Jared Leto. They're just going to show him as just plain old Jesus Christ looking Jared Leto, and then when they actually show the trailer, they'll actually show him as Morbius Living Vampire. So I'm interested to see how Morbius does. Because that was an interesting... I like that character in the cartoon. I've never read the comic book. I might have to read that. And that's an interesting character. Jared could pull it off. I mean, I know a lot of people still want to hang him for what he did in Suicide Squad. But he could pull this off. I mean... If history's proven us one thing, it's that you're allowed second chances in the superhero world. I mean, you look at Chris Evans. He did Fantastic Four, and then he became Captain America. You look at Ben Affleck. He was Daredevil, and then he became Batman. Ryan Reynolds. He was Green Lantern. Now he's Deadpool. So everyone's allowed a second chance, and Jared Leto should be given a second chance. maybe he can knock this out of the park. Maybe this could be his career-defining role. I mean, yeah, he won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. Nobody gives a shit about that. This could be the role that people stop him on the street to say hi to him or get his autograph. Yeah, Joker was amazing. His Joker wasn't amazing, though. I mean, granted, they didn't give him a lot of time, but it wasn't very good. Oh, man. So that's all the Marvel news. And then, of course, DC news. You have, I know Wonder Woman's coming out next year in June. Wonder Woman 2. And then you have the Harley Quinn movie. And then I know there's more, like there's Disney Plus shows coming out. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming out next year. And Loki. And that's really about it. So there's more shit coming out in 2 years. 2 or 3 years. So, what is next on the agenda? And also, more superhero news. Overlord, man, too much. Yeah, I mean, again, Marvel, DC, they already have my money. They already know what they're doing. I don't care what it is. They'll have my money. I'm not going to buy that DC Universe app, though, because a lot of the shit on there doesn't look that appealing to me. I don't care if you do put Nightwing on the show. It just does not look good. I guess the last bit of news, if you guys really aren't into like the DC shows on CW, this coming Sunday they're kickstarting their Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, which is their own like Infinity War Endgame movie, where everybody from the CW shows, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Black Lightning, what is it? Legends of Tomorrow and all that. They're all having their big crossover, and they've brought back almost everybody for this big ass cross. Oh yeah, and Batwoman. They're bringing back almost everybody because you're going to see 3 Supermans. You got the Superman that's on Supergirl. Yeah, they brought back Tom Welling from Smallville. They haven't showed him in a suit yet. I think they're going to tease that. I think they're going to make us think he's not going to be in it that long, because supposedly the rumor is that he only filmed one scene. But I think like when they have their big fight, like their big ass superhero fight, he's going to show up in the fucking suit. Like he kind of has to. And then you have Brandon Routh as Superman, as a Kingdom Come Superman, which looks fucking dope. And he's already on Legends of Tomorrow as the Atom, Ray Palmer, and now he's playing 2 roles. So it looks dope. They brought back the voice of Batman from the 90s and also in the video games and the animated movies, Kevin Conroy. He'll be playing Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne, which looks fucking dope. Who else did they bring back? They brought back Burt Ward as Robin from the 60s show. They brought back Robert Wool, who was in the 1989 Batman, because he's not going to really be doing much. I guess supposedly there's a scene where they show, I guess, the 1989 Earth for Batman, and they just show him reading a paper, and you just see like everything going to shit. So they brought him back. They brought in the actor who played Kevin Tran in Supernatural to play the new Atom from his universe. It looks fucking awesome. It's going to start this Sunday with Supergirl and I believe Batwoman. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to start with both shows this Sunday. Oh man, like I'm into it. Like I'm kind of behind. I'm catching up to Arrow. I'm kind of catching up to Flash. It's going to be fucking dope. It's going to be epic. Arrow's last ever show will be in January. Their literal last ever episode will be in January. The show that'll have the last episode in the Crisis series will be Legends of Tomorrow, which I don't know why. I mean, yeah, you would figure it'd be Arrow. You would figure Arrow would have like the last show in the series, or in this big storyline, or even Flash. But What the fuck do I know? Yeah, that's... Is there really anything else I can talk about? What else can I go over? Yeah, that's really about it. I mean, I did watch, for the first time, I watched earlier the Mauro-Graves documentary on Showtime. They have it on YouTube for free, by the way, on Showtime's YouTube channel. You can watch the whole thing for free on YouTube. It's called Bipolar Rock and Roller. Oh man, it's just it's kind of a rough thing to watch because you don't know how the guy is outside of the biz, because he comes off as a guy who's very nice, who's just a naturally genuine, good-hearted guy. He seems like a guy who just enjoys life, but inside he's suffering. Like, you know, I don't know how to put it without sounding insensitive, but like I don't want to sound like a bleeding heart, but it's just my heart aches for him when I see that, when I just see everything he's going through, because he had gone through so much before he came to WWE, before he became a boxing commentator, before he covered, you know, UFC, MMA. He gone through so much. He grew up a wrestling fan, and him and his best friend, I think it was like his best friend and his brother, they were supposed to go in it together, and he was already in it. He was already like a color commentator or manager for the local wrestling promotion, you know, where he was from, which is, I think, British Columbia. And him and his best friend were supposed to go into it, and his, you know, friend died. And the story, you know, according to his family, was that he was kind of already, there was something already kind of wrong with him even before that. His friend dying is what kind of sent him, you know, it kind of sent him into depression. He had to be admitted to a hospital, and that's where he got, you know, diagnosed with bipolar, being a bipolar. And just showing the clips, like the home movies of him and how he is outside of the business, you know, it's rough to watch. And also because I know people that are like that. It's not easy. I can't relate. I can't sit up here and pretend that I can relate to what he's going through or what anyone like that is going through, or that's dealing with that is going through. I know what depression feels like. I know what anxiety feels like. You know, it's just one of those things where it's just like the things that used to give your life meaning aren't giving your life meaning anymore. And that's how I was like, you know, that's what it looked like for Mauro, because even while he's calling two of the biggest fights of the decade, I mean, because I'm looking through his history, he called two of the biggest fights of the decade. And I'm not even a boxing fan, but that's impressive. He called Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather, and then years later he calls Mayweather versus McGregor. And this is while he was while he left the WWE for the first time and before he came back. Like, that's impressive. And he also comes across as somebody that's a perfectionist. So I know there is an instance where he felt like he didn't really hit it out of the park with his commentary in one of the fights, and that sent him into an episode. You know, they talk about the WWE stuff. He didn't bring up JBL, which I thought was interesting. He mentioned, you know, it was fun being, you know, the main roster, but, you know, the traveling was taking its toll on him until he had an episode at an airport. And I thought, you know, Triple H was a part of it, which I thought was interesting. You know, Mauro, you know, assumed that, you know, WWE is going to let him go. And, you know, he said, you know, WWE just told him, no, wait a minute, I think we have to have something for you in this company. You're way too good to let go. You're way too much of an asset just to let go. So Triple H offered him a job in NXT, calling NXT, and, you know, it works because it seems like he's the happiest he's ever been. It looks that way to me. watch it, please. Just please watch it. Look it up on YouTube. Again, it's free. You can watch the whole documentary on Showtime's YouTube channel. It's haunting. It's haunting to watch. It's very hard to watch. It's not very easy to watch. It really lets you inside this man's mind. He's a beautiful, tortured soul. He's very well liked and very well respected from everybody around him. I don't think you can find anyone besides Corey Graves, obviously, that has a bad thing or negative thing to say about him. Which the whole Corey Graves thing, I'm kind of past it. It just seems like a dead issue. I think Corey Graves is an idiot for saying what he said. According to him, it was a work, which is just like, what, did you fucking text Mauro about that? Because obviously he didn't get the message because he decided to take a week off and got off social media. Corey Graves is an idiot for what he said. He's an asshole. He's an asshole for what he said. He's really revealed his true colors in these past few years. The whole Carmella thing, the thing with CM Punk. This is kind of like the icing on the cake. He's an asshole for doing what he did. So, I mean, if anyone doesn't know, the situation was that during TakeOver, Corey tweeted, I forgot the actual tweet, but it was like, I just want to let everyone know that we have a WWE Hall of Famer and a former Ring of Honor World Champion. I imagine they have a lot to say, which is obviously taking a shot at Mauro. So, I mean, that kind of shows you the kind of person he is. I mean, because, did Corey and Mauro even get along in NXT? Was Corey, was that how Corey was brought up? To only really think of himself? So, again, I'm with Mauro on this. I'm with Team Mauro. Corey's an asshole for doing what he did. I mean, he apologized, but did he really apologize? So, but definitely watch that documentary. That's really all I gotta talk about. That's really it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who downloads, shows love to the show. As I mentioned before on Twitter, December the 26th, I'll be doing my second annual Yara Year-End Awards. I did the first one last year. Basically, I'll just be critiquing it's fine, Pins. I just talked about the Mauro Noel thing and talked about his documentary. The Yara Year-End Awards, where I'll just be critiquing everything that I've been talking about. Mainly wrestling. Maybe do movie of the year, character of the year, best movie of the year, worst movie of the year. Oh yeah, I forgot questions. Fuck. I forgot. I had 2 questions. One was from Pince. He wants to know, do you ever watch New Japan? I have for the past few years and really enjoyed it. Probably my must-see wrestling show. Have you watched much or have NJPW World? How you doing, Sasha Baron Corbin? I haven't really been keeping up with NJPW, Pince. The last time I watched it was when I had Sling TV and Sling TV carried access. So I haven't been keeping with it. I don't have the app either. So maybe if I get access pretty soon, because I have YouTube TV, but they don't have access. Maybe if YouTube TV got access, I could pay more attention to it. But at the moment, I don't have it, unfortunately. So all's pretty well. Thank you, Sasha, for asking. That's really nice of you. I hope all is well wherever you're at. So that's my answer to your question, Pince. I have another question. It's from Martin Miller on Twitter. Shout out to Martin Miller. What movie was your biggest letdown of 2019 and why? I actually have 2. First one, I'm just going to go in order. First one was Glass. That wasn't very good. Oh, hush your mouth. Hush your mouth, Pince. I'm playing. Glass was a big letdown. It's weird because I liked Split. I thought Split was a very good movie. And Unbreakable was pretty good too. And then they were just hyping up Glass, like it was going to be it was just going to be this huge movie. It really fell flat. It really did. I didn't really care for the ending. And also it had like the most boring fight in any movie I've ever seen, because they would fight and then they would stop to talk for 5 minutes, and then they would fight again and stop to talk for another 5 minutes. It was bad. It was to me, it was a big letdown. Yeah, Nun was pretty bad too. Actually, didn't Nun come out last year? Vincent, I thought Nun came out last year. But whatever. And also Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix, another big letdown. The last, X-Men movie. I mean, yeah, we have that New Mutants coming up, but I'm talking about like actual X-Men. About like the team of X-Men. Charles Xavier and whatnot. That was another big letdown. I mean, the movie wasn't bad. I mean, a lot of people were saying it was the worst superhero movie they ever seen. Which, whenever I hear people hype something up too much, I need to see it for myself. Whenever someone says something is the worst superhero movie they've ever seen, I need to watch it. I need to see, how bad was it? Was it Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance bad? Was it Punisher Warzone bad? Was it Howard the Duck bad? And you watch it, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. I think the problem was Endgame was so fucking good. Oh, yeah. Electra wasn't too bad, Pence. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it wasn't too bad. I guess it's because Endgame was so better, was so freaking huge. It was such a big movie. I mean, it surpassed Avatar as the highest grossing movie of all time. So it was a big movie, and anything else after that just seemed like it was, less good. So it just wasn't very good. And also, I remember Kevin Smith pointed this out. We grew up with the early 2000s X-Men movies. Hugh Jackman, Famke Janssen, James Marsden, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart. And it's like, we grew up with those guys. We're more emotionally attached to them. And then you have this movie with all these new people. I mean, I like James McAvoy, I like Michael Fassbender. But you have all these new people, and it's like, who the fuck are these people? I like Charles Xavier and Magneto more because they were more established, because they did the reboot, the First Class reboot that started in 2011. And then you have all these new kids, which is just like, why am I supposed to feel anything for these kids? For these new kids? And then the fact that Hugh Jackman didn't even come out for 5 seconds. I mean, yeah, he was retired, but they could have had him come back for 5 or 10 seconds. Come on. Or even have a Deadpool appearance. So the movie was a big letdown to me. I'll still buy it just to have it part of my collection. I mean, I probably won't watch it. I'll just have it part of the collection. Sasha wants to know what's better, Battlefield Earth or After Earth. I've never seen After Earth. I have no interest in seeing After Earth. Battlefield Earth, I remember watching it, I guess in 6th or 7th grade. I didn't think much. I don't think about it. I didn't think about it then. I don't think about it now. That's my answer. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask me. I'm going to go in the kitchen and put something in the sink real quick. So, if you have any questions, feel free to write. Give me 1 second. Oh, shit. First of all, Pince, you never ask me how old I am. I fucked up the joke. Never mind. How old am I? I'm 30. I turned 30 in July, man. That movie killed Will Smith. Yeah, I have to agree with that, Sasha. It was so bad I didn't see it. Like that's how bad it was. And then Gemini Man didn't really do anyone any favors. I haven't seen it. A friend of mine saw it, and he told me it was pretty bad. So that kind of, if there's a movie I have no interest in, and somebody wants to tell me spoilers, I just let them tell me the spoilers. Like that just shows you how much I care about that movie. Everything about it after sucked. Yeah, it did. It was, again, it looked bad. And I don't give a shit about his kids either. I mean, Will Smith is cool. I mean, depending on who you ask, you know. Just don't say that to Andrew Carlin, by the way. You don't like gangster movies, do you? I never said. I told you, Pince, I do like gangster movies. I like some gangster movies. I thought Casino was pretty fun. I think Casino is my favorite gangster movie. I'm trying to think of other ones. Fuck. I was too young to enjoy The Godfather. Again, I'm 30, so there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. There's a lot of movies I didn't really get a chance to enjoy. But my only argument is that I don't feel gangster movies should be that relevant in this current decade. So I haven't seen The Irishman, so I can't judge it. I never said it was a bad movie because obviously I haven't seen it. So I don't have an interest in watching it. I might watch it sometime in the future, just to 33. And I love the Godfather movies. Yeah, so I'm just picky. I'm just picky about movies to watch. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't just like superhero movies. I like other movies too. So I love horror movies, by the way. Love horror movies. I love crime movies. I love. I'm a big nerd for like when it comes to like crime TV shows like ID Network and whatnot. I love movies about crime. I'm a big movie buff too. Probably the best movie I've seen in recent years is it's a movie with Jeremy Renner and Liz Olsen. It's called Wind River. Yeah, it came out like 2 years ago. It's the definition of an indie film. Like, it's one of those movies where it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a plot, and then they tell the plot well, and then once they solve the problem to the plot, then that's the end of the movie. So I remember watching it, and I remember there was an ending. I remember in the ending of the movie, I'm just like, that was the ending? I guess it's because I'm just used to watching movies where they still solve the problem, but then they take 20 to 25 minutes to talk about why the problem was a problem. Well, this movie just explained the problem. It's a really good movie. I highly suggest it. Do I like any of the WWE films, Sacha Baron Corbin? I guess like the earlier ones. What is it? The Marine wasn't that bad. I remember my parents actually watched it. They watched it on HBO. And they're like, this guy gets stabbed at, shot at, blown up at, and he doesn't have a scratch on him. I'm like, yeah, that's John Cena. I watched The Chaperone. Chaperone wasn't too bad. I never watched 12 Rounds because 12 Rounds I watched like maybe the first 30 minutes of it. I'm like, this is basically The Marine. Oculus was bad, Pince. In my opinion, it was bad. I didn't care for it. I didn't like the plot. And, the characters in it kind of pissed me off. I forgot, Karen Gillan was actually in that movie. I think that was pre-Guardians of the Galaxy. That's how I like it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just a lot of other people said they liked it. I watched it. I didn't like it. I didn't. I just the plot and the ending kind of pissed me off, and not in a good way. So, WWE Studios films. I think of whatever. See No Evil. I liked. I mean, it kind of fit the mold of like a B horror film. I haven't seen part 2 yet. I think I have that on my queue on Amazon Prime. Danielle Harris is in that, so I'll definitely be watching that. She is smoking. Oh, man. Sorry, I was taking a drink of my water. Suburban Commando had a wrestler or two in it. Oh yeah, Hogan was in that because he was a star. Taker was in it too. Yeah, he was one of the extras. That's apparently how he got his job in WWE. The story he tells is that Vince called him. That he already had the meeting and Vince called him. Hogan tells a story that Taker was an extra in the movie and that he actually got Taker the job. Eggman. What'd you guys think of that interview with Taker and Kevin Castle? I liked it. It was a pretty good interview. I mean, I'm so used to Taker just like being so aloof and not really doing any interviews that you see him talk, and he has he's surprisingly a very good sense of humor. Which is no Kevin Castle. Why did I say Kevin fucking Castle? Steve Austin. There you go. Kevin Castle and Undertaker would be a pretty interesting interview. No, it was Undertaker and Steve Austin. My girlfriend just texted me. Give me 1 second. She just texted me, "Hey." Yeah, the interview was pretty good. I like the portion in it where Taker's talking about how he got hired. Because he talked to, he said he talked to Vince, and yeah, I was actually surprised about that. He didn't really talk about Kane all that much. He didn't even talk about Paul Bearer all that much. Now, and also I remember in the interview, Austin even said we haven't even scratched the surface, so she's asking if you want to watch Suburban Commando. I'm pretty sure my girlfriend will not want to watch that shit. She would rather watch Masters of the Universe, which that's actually her favorite bad movie. Yeah, there's a portion where Taker's talking about how he got hired from WWE because he's remember talking to Vince, and they asked him, what can you do? Do you have any talents? And he says, well, I can sing pretty good in the bathroom. And he just thought in his head, oh shit, now they're going to give me the gimmick of singing the bathroom boy. And so a couple days later, he said Vince calls him and says, is this the Undertaker? And he's like, yeah, it's the Undertaker. Because he thought he was going to be Eggman, because whenever he saw the big egg leading up to Survivor Series was ended up being the Gobbledygooker, he was like, oh shit, I'm going to be Eggman. But, he became Undertaker, and he had a pretty good career. He had a pretty nice career. I mean, we can all agree on that. Will you watch the Goldberg one with Austin coming up? Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I've kind of soured on Goldberg over the years. I think the whole Matt Riddle thing kind of made me sour on him because I don't know if you guys saw the video. I mean, I like to think you guys saw the video. There's that video where Goldberg ran into Matt Riddle and he just is like, you can tell Goldberg is just being passive aggressive, and Matt Riddle's just like, I don't give a fuck. And he's like, I'm not your bro. So I might watch it. I mean, I don't hate Goldberg, but I've kind of soured on him over the years. So, I like the Austin interviews because it seems like they're just allowing Austin to do his own thing, and they don't try to meddle in it too much. It'd be interesting if like they gave Austin his own interview show on Fox. where they can really just allow him to just shoot the shit. You know what I mean? So, I wonder who else they're going to have on the show. Can't be Triple H. I think they already did Triple H. They already put on guys who don't really talk too much, who you don't really see too many interviews from. Kane. Kane would be an interesting interview. We don't really hear too much from Glenn Jacobs. I don't think he's ever really done an interview, to be honest, or like a wrestling podcast interview. I doubt The Rock would ever. Oh yeah, I was just about to say that, Sasha. The Rock, that they would have to pay. They would have to pay out of the ass to get him on the show. The Rock, I'm pretty sure, does not step out of his house for more than $20 million. I think Brock was already on the show. Not the Broken Skull sessions, but whenever Steve Austin was doing like his own podcast on the WWE Network, he had Brock Lesnar on. So yeah, he already had Brock on. It'd be interesting if he had guys on the show that don't really do too many interviews. But yeah, that's really all I'm got. I mean, that's really all I have left on the agenda. Thank you to everybody for showing up in the voice chat. Thank you everybody showing up to the show. Stevie Richards. Shout out to Wrestling Soup. They had a really good episode. They had a really good episode of Side Salad. If you head on over to their Patreon, just for $5, you get shows like Side Salad. You get shows like Global Bonding with our good friend John Draper. You get the Frank and Gus show, which is I guess you would call it a spinoff of Wrestling Soup, with Mish and Joey. Wrestling Soup. Tune in the next hour on Mixler, or head on over to their Discord. That's one of the big prizes. If you sign up to their Patreon, you get a link to the Discord channel. Listen to the show live. DTKC every Monday after Raw. Head on over to their Patreon just for $5. You get shows like Dark Chronicles and Castle Chronicles with Kevin Castle. Also on Dark Chronicles, you get our good friend Trez, who I would love to have her back on pretty soon. You also get Breakfast Soup with Don, Tony, and Mish, who they just did an episode today. I wish I wasn't able to listen to it live, but I already have it downloaded to my phone. Texas Podcast Massacre, if you like horror movies. These guys cover... I hope Kevin Castle will interview The Undertaker. That'd be an interesting interview. You know, he's going to put Al Perez before Undertaker. He'll put Al Perez before anything. Kevin Castle loves Al Perez, and I thought it was pretty cool that Al Perez shouted him out. DJ Dells, shout out to Dells. He interviewed Al Perez on his channel, and Al Perez actually shouted Kevin out. So I was happy for Kev. I like seeing my friends. I like seeing people I respect and like and consider friends happy, and that seemed like it looked like it made Kevin genuinely happy, and I was happy for Kev. So Kev's my boy. Shout out to Kev. Because he shouted me out twice during his show, or during Dark Chronicles the other day. According to him, I have all this money and time to see all the wrestling in Texas. So, and I also have a PhD in thugonomics. So he's not wrong about that one. Yo. But Texas Podcast Massacre, if you like horror movies, these guys cover horror movies of yesteryear and today. They even cover the bad ones and make it very entertaining. So look for their podcast, Wrestling Court, with Julian and Rob, another good friends of the show, did their show twice. I don't think they had an episode this week. They might have one next week, if I'm not mistaken. Julian's a very busy man. You have the Arc Attack podcast with a friend of mine, Derek, and his friend, Irvin. You have Tyler, the Trademark, with the Trademark Show. Look out for his podcast. I think they just did a new one. I think he just did a new one, if I'm not mistaken. Brian. I'll shout out the Mark Report. Yeah, Listen to everybody's podcast. Listen to all podcast people. You have Brian, B-Show Brian, with his horror podcast. I think it's called Reanimated. Well, let me make sure I got the name right, just so I don't sound like an ass. But yeah, listen to the Mark Report, definitely. You have Horror Reanimated with B-Show Brian. If you're into horror movies, if you like the concept of fan fiction, these guys will talk about it. Listen to Poppy. Yeah, sure. I'll listen to Poppy for Mish. You have False Count Radio with our good friend Andrew Carlick. They just did an episode recently. That's really about it. And just listen to everybody's podcasts. Don't just listen to the ones I tell you to listen to. Listen to everybody's. If you like podcasts about potted plants, there's a podcast about potted plants. Get in the corner with Yuck Nasty and Dogger Baby. How can I forget about Yuck Nasty? He created the fucking theme for the show. So Yuck Nasty. Listen to fucking Yuck Nasty and Dogger Baby. They're my boys. Shaheen. Nuclear Heat Graphics and also Wrestling Overdose. Shaheen made the new logo for the show. It cost me a pretty penny, but it was worth it. Shaheen's the fucking man. But yeah, listen to everybody's podcast. Don't just listen to the ones I tell you about. And I will be back next week. I'm not going to have a show at the beginning of the new year. The last show of the year will be December the 26th, which is also the Yari Year-End Awards. For that episode, I implore everybody to please send in your questions. Regardless of what question it is, send it to me. I will answer it to the best of my abilities. It can be about wrestling, it can be about movies, it can be about TV, it can be about music. It can even be about life. It can literally be about anything. Nothing is off limits. Just don't ask me how big Batista's dick is. I'm playing. Ask me that. Ask me that if you want to. But yeah, last show of the year will be December 26th. I will take the first week of the new year off. And see you later, Pins. Thank you. I appreciate you for joining. Appreciate you too, Sasha, Maurice. Take care, guys. I'll be back next week, same time, same channel. And I might not even be alone. I might even have a guest with me. You never know. Anyways, take care, guys, and peace.